funny. Everything I do is righteous.
Welcome to this edition of Ballerz World Live. I'm your host, Rod Watson, and we're here in the studio with my co-host, James Ship and Alexis Williams.
What up, what up?
Yay. Want to give a big shout out to our resident DJ, Mr. E, in the house. Going to be on the
DJ
ones and
Mr.
twos
E.
this evening. So, guys, we're here today, first edition of Ballerz World Live. Hey, this is exciting. We're here in our LA studios this evening, and we want to give a shout-out also to our sponsors, right? And we're going to shout out to Ballerz World Live, and we also want to give a shout-out to Edna, right? And Slam Anta.
Yep.
Correction,
Shout out to
and
Anta.
Slam
Shout out to
Magazine.
Anta, holding it down.
Yes. All right, guys, we got a full house tonight. We got a lot of great content that we're going to be going over here, from the NBA to the college to what's happening in the rumor report in the league and around the basketball community. So let's dive in. What do you say?
Let's do it. And don't forget, we got some great guests in the studio tonight.
Yes.
We got a great guest, and we got somebody special calling in a little bit later. So,
Ladies, you're going to love him. Yep.
thanks.
All right, so here we go. We're going along. We're going to talk about, as we move into our first segment, getting into Ballerz World and what the Ballerz World means. Ballerz World Live means to myself, to you, to Alexis, and why we're here today. And let's dive in.
Yeah, so Ballerz World, I'm a part of Ballerz World along with Kyle Cox, who was supposed to be on the show.
Correct.
Blessings sent out to him and to his family.
Yes.
Everybody.
Sending our prayers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
They're
prayers
having
and
some
thoughts to
family
Kyle.
issues. So we're with he's here in spirit. He's here in studio in spirit. Ballerz World is an interactive multimedia basketball platform. So we kind of moved away from the whole function of just pick up games and
Correct.
finding leagues, and we moved into this full home for basketball. It really is. It's the Ballerz World. It's the whole world of basketball. So we're doing some great things out here. I mean, obviously, we're over here. Again, thank you, ESPN, for having us on here, and thank you for LA Talk Live for having us.
Yes.
It's some great things. I mean, I personally, I started with Ballerz World with my own app. I started my own app, Switch 360, and and thanks to John Gatto. Shout out to John Gatto.
Shout out to John.
Shout out to John.
Thanks to John, he connected Kyle and I, and bam, we just we kept running with this Ballerz World stuff, and here we go.
Yeah, well, it's been an amazing experience for me. I had a chance to meet Kyle about 9 months ago, and it's crazy how fast everything is taking off. I was doing another show on ESPN called Wealth Builders at the time Kyle came on, and my introduction to it was fresh. It was new, and I thought it was definitely a great, innovative app to put out there, because I remember growing up playing basketball, back in the day. You just had to just show up at the park, right? Or the day before, you say, hey, we'll be back here at 5 o'clock. With this app, it allows you to connect globally, find local runs. If you're not playing at an A level, you can find a B level, the C level, right? Right? I used to be, you walk in the gym, it's like, I don't want to play with those scrubs, right? Yeah. You can find the talent and hoop with them anywhere in the world. And that's what's great about this app. And then also, of course, the design and the thought process that's going into the technology behind it. So you guys, I'm telling you right now, all you hoop heads, all you ballers, go download the Ballerz World Live app now.
Ballerz World app. Download iOS. Skirt.
All right, so as we move along in our show, we want to move along to our next segment, right? We want to talk about what I love is the slam. We call it the slam or not, which is going to be brought to you by our co-host, Alexis Williams. So what do we have in the slam or not? What's going on?
So we're going to play this game, slam or not. Basically, you slam, you're going to let us know. If it's a not, you're going to tell us why. And if you want to join in on the conversation, follow us on all our social media platforms at Ballerz World Live. So guys, ready? Slam or not?
Let's go.
First one. Last night, Lance Stevenson's first game back to in a Pacers uniform. They're ahead 17 points. Scores a layup with 3 seconds left. Slam or not?
I'm going to say not. Not.
I'm going to say slam.
See, they're mad. See, they're mad. I think not. This is,
Okay.
And give me a sec. Basketball is a game. It's entertainment. It's fun. It's meant. You're supposed to score points. You're supposed to have fun. Mm-hmm. He stole the ball. He's having fun. He's a big ass kid. I don't see any problems with it.
Well, I think from the other viewpoint, way players look at it, during that time you're up double digits, just hold the ball, right? That's the thought process. Hold the ball. And I do, in a way, agree that the game is played until the whistle blows, until the time expires. But in that situation, you would expect him to have a little bit more class, hold the ball, and just let the clock run out. So I think the other team, opposing team, when you talk about, winning with class, sportsmanship, you typically would not do that, right? And, in a lot of ways, obviously the opposing side is never going to be happy about getting shown up. So with that said,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't show a lot of class when you're trying to fight, too, over somebody stealing the ball. And
I agree.
Obviously
running over coaches to get at a player on the bench. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's definitely not something you want to do. But today's players are a little bit more sensitive than back in the day, right? And I think back in the day, this has been expected. You guard the ball, you protect the ball until the clock expires. But hey, Lance Stevenson, he's first game back, and he's known for these type of things. So you got to kind of have to expect that, right? You got to expect that coming in.
Doing silly shit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I would do it. If I was on the court, I would do it. I'd be like, I don't care. That's what I would do. If you guys were on the court, what would you do?
Hey, like I said, at the end of the day, you also
get
have
buckets.
You getting
all about
that's
the
true.
buckets.
You're getting buckets, and Lance trying to pad his stats there for a minute. Lance, I'm
I'm
back
trying to
at
get
the
my
house.
point
I'm
average
trying to
up.
get my
That's what I'm trying to do.
17s.
I'm trying to get up there.
Yeah, I agree, but at the end of the day, it's a game, and the game is to be played to win, and you have to go in expecting that. And when these types of things happen, on the other side, you still have to be able to control your cool. You can say whatever you want to say to the press in the locker room, but it never should lead to a physical altercation in a situation like that. That's just my personal opinion. And I know that things get heated. I've been in those situations on the game where you can have an opposing team. They may say things or do things to try to show you up, but you gotta keep that class, and you gotta make sure that at the end of the day, you let your game show on the court. So guess what? They'll have another opportunity when they come to their house.
All right. Next. Dennis Rodman says Klay Thompson makes the Warriors. Slam or not?
Not.
I
I'd
was
say
waiting
not.
for you. I was like, oh, come on now. Let me argue with you twice now.
I mean, I would say he probably has two players ahead of him that makes that team. One
Probably.
beginning with K and the ending in D, and then obviously we also know Curry. So no, I would say not.
Yeah.
What's next?
LeBron James saying he's not worried about the showdown with the Celtics.
He should be.
That's a lie.
That's. I would say that's a slam.
Yeah, that's a lie.
He should be concerned. I mean, at the end of the day, this team plays cohesively. They play together. They have the number one seed right now thus far in the league for a reason. And it still remains to be seen, the verdict's out if they're going to finish out the season with that seed. But you never want to take a team like that. You don't want to underestimate a team like the Celtics. I mean, this team can put up points. They can score quick.
Bring the ball up the court.
Yes.
And
that's what's going to be great is to see that battle between Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie. And with that being said, no, you don't ever want to look past an opponent.
All right, NBA draft. Markelle Fultz saying he's going to be the first overall pick. Slam or not?
Slam. I think you got to have that level of confidence. You got to have that level of confidence.
You do.
I mean, his game speaks for itself. And you have to have that level of confidence in yourself and believe that, with that ability that you should be picked as the number one pick with his talent and his ability.
Listen, I think I should be the number one pick. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of confidence you need to have. I should be the number one pick. You heard it here first.
James Shipp, everyone. James Shipp, number one overall pick, NBA draft, right here. All right, last one. Meta World Peace saying that the Warriors are hated because they are just too good.
Slam. I would have to agree. I would have to agree most definitely that, you have a team like this that's a young team and they've been, straight blazing the league for the last for the last 4 years. I mean, they started winning championships, year before last 2 years ago. But when you have guys making threes at the clip like they are, it puts a lot of pressure on teams, and that's very hard to guard. So, yeah, you would have a lot of people, no different than when the Bulls were in their heyday and the Lakers in their heyday winning. Everybody hated them. But, I mean, really, have they really done that much winning to be hated? Really think about it.
Last season, they did a lot of winning. I'm not going to lie to you, brother.
But that's one season.
Yeah.
And they didn't win the championship. Remember that. 73 and 9? And no chip? Okay.
I think that's a no.
But you know what?
comment.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You
Go
said
ahead.
it's a no
I'm not going to fight you on the first episode now, brother.
Bring it on.
All right,
moving along.
Yeah, that's all for this week's Slam or Not, brought to you by Slam Magazine. Don't forget, join the conversation and follow all our social media platforms at Ballerz World Live.
And you know what? Real quick, while we're talking about the Warriors, let's get on this whole conversation about KD coming back. KD's going to be back in the lineup. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's going to be great. I think, it's obviously going to add another threat on the floor, which is what they need, whether it be the long ball or a mid-range game. And just having another guy of his caliber on the team is only going to elevate them as they enter into the playoff races.
Continue this conversation after the commercial
Yeah,
break.
we'll go to break, and actually we'll take it out with DJ Mr. E, and we'll be back. You guys stay tuned. All right, welcome back to this edition of Ballerz World Live. We were previously just discussing Kevin Durant talk and their position when Kevin returns and how the team will actually do. And Alexis, let's dive right into that.
So I learned how much KD and the Warriors mean to the Bay Area living up there this last semester.
Yeah.
I was exposed to like a whole new world. You know, I'm coming from Indiana, so I get basketball out there, and then I go to the Bay Area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people
it's
eat,
real.
sleep, and breathe like the
It's
Warriors.
real.
Like,
Yes.
it's insane.
Oh no, they're diehard.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
you know, I learned a lot out there. But KD returning, I mean, it's just gonna be. I look at it as they're 12 straight wins without him.
Correct.
Yeah, how much better can Golden State Warriors really get? Like, it's insane. I mean, his speed, his size, everything on the court.
Yeah.
Like, should he come right off the bench coming in? He's been out a month. Should he come off the bench and be in the starting lineup?
I think, personally, because they're doing so well without him, come off the bench, use this time for what it's for. You know, just get a good feel for the game, get a good feel back for the pace of the game, and get some contact, and let them do what they do. Keep winning. Get ready for the playoffs.
Well, you know, they made the big move bringing him in the offseason for this particular, you know, time of year, you know, and that's to win and obviously clinch the first seed in the West. So I definitely don't think you have no reason to sit him on the bench. You put him in the starting lineup and you just let him simply do what he does, and that's get buckets. You know, it's that simple. And plus, it's, you know, KD's been around. He's played in enough big games that he understands how to pick his spots. You know, I think when he returns, you're not going to see him being overly aggressive, but, you know, he's going to probably have to take about a good 5, 6, 7, 8 games to, you know, got to get his.
Well, see, that's where I disagree with you, because if you bring in KD,
Yeah.
let's just say he's at 80%. You bring in 80% KD. 80% KD isn't KD. That's like just a K and like a lowercase d. You know what I'm saying? Pause. So if he's coming in with that, is he going to hurt the team more than he's going to help? Now, 100% KD, that's, I mean, absolutely. Start him right off the bat, run 40 minutes, and that's it.
Now, are they saying he's going to be 80%, or is that being confirmed?
No, I mean, he's running 3-on-3 drills.
James
He's doing 4-on-4
James
drills.
Ship speculation over here.
Yeah.
James Ship speculation.
Well, you know, I would say that, again, I think that he's smart enough, even at 80%, he's better than any other player at his position. You know, it's no different when Kobe was hurting, you know, whether it's the ring finger or whatever. I mean, if Kobe could have played with that Achilles torn, he would have. But when you think about the mental toughness like a guy like Kevin Durant, I believe that even at 80%, he's going to help this team win. You know, just having him on the floor, whether he can stretch, make shots, you know, be a decoy, I think that in itself will help open up more opportunities for the other players on the team, second chance opportunities there. So I have to say that it's a plus having him on the court, no matter how healthy. I mean, 80%, 75, I'll take him.
Okay. Now, looking at that too,
Correct.
let's talk about his arch enemy, Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
MVP talk.
Okay.
I got Russ.
Well, I would have to say I agree with you. I mean, there's never been a time since Oscar Robertson where you've seen these type of numbers put up, you know, 31 points over 10 rebounds, right? 11 assists, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this guy is tearing the league up right now.
Thanks.
And, you know, when you look at what defines an MVP, I mean, you look at who he's playing with, first of all. You know, he's not playing with another all-star next to him. Like a lot of the other guys have that luxury, playing with either all-star or, you know, high-level, you know, players. So I would say what he's doing right now by putting up these type of points, carrying his team there in the 6th seed, yeah, he gets my vote for the MVP hands down.
I'm LeBron James all the way. LeBron James has my vote.
Man,
LeBron James has my vote.
Well,
That's when I thought we were here.
okay.
But,
Well, how
but
about
this is why. Hold on. I could see. Okay, first of all, I'm a LeBron James from the beginning. You know,
Okay.
from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland. I believe in him. Everyone believes in him. Like, #1 overall. But I see where you guys are coming from with Russell Westbrook, with people talking about Harden. But I see it like rappers, like Tupac, Biggie, and Jay-Z. Like,
Correct.
we all know he's the MVP. He already made it. So I could see.
Russell is Kendrick. You know what I'm
is
saying?
that?
Russell is
Why-
Kendrick.
why-
Russell's,
why is
'cause
that?
he's the best now. And that's MVP. It's not MVP for life. It's not MVP till LeBron dies. It's MVP for right this season.
I have to agree with you on that.
Russell's killing it.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Killing
But
it.
going back to Alexis, your comments about LeBron. I mean, every year it's no different than Michael Jordan. You know, every year Michael was the best player, no matter what. We know that. But as James is saying, who's playing the best at this moment, at this time? And the playoffs still have to take place. You know, I think that's going to be the deciding factors once we get to that playoff push. You know, those last 10 or 15 games, and then into
Devil's
the first
advocate.
round, that's really going
James
to
Harden.
determine. Hey,
He's,
to me, he's my
Shaq said
he's
they
my
should be
second runner-up.
co-MVPs.
I think right now with this last stretch, James has put it in overdrive, and I think he's sending a loud statement to the league that no, you know, Harden is nowhere near me. When you're putting up these type of triple doubles, 41. When was the last time that was done, Alexis?
tying Oscar Robertson in 61, I believe, 1961.
Enough said.
Let me ask you this question, though. So you have first round of playoffs. You're going to have OKC against Houston. Should voting be done after that?
Push the voting.
Yes.
Should it be
Push
pushed?
the voting.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Winner takes all.
I think it gives a chance for both of these players to really show. It's close. Now Russell's starting to pull away. I think James going to have a last, big stretch here. And I think at the end of the day, again, when you look at the talent and you look at the explosiveness that Russell plays with and the attitude, people talk about how he plays with this chip on his shoulder. I'd have to agree. I mean, he's out to prove a point this year that he is the best player in the league. I do believe Harden believes he's the best player in the league, but I think also Harden has a different objective, which I think for him, I think his focus is getting past Golden State and getting into that Western Conference game. And he just wants to make sure that, obviously they win every game they can going forward. But I think it'll give him time to really show who that true MVP is if you give him after that Rockets game.
And then there's Kawhi.
Well, how about we
I
listen?
definitely-
How about we do this? Let's see what the fans have to say.
Right.
Alexis,
Let's
tell them to tweet in. What do they tweet?
Tweet in
to
at Ballerz World Live.
Let's go to
Give us
Twitter.
your opinion.
Let's see what they're saying.
Let us know, because I'm going to throw in Isaiah Thomas in there. I'm going to throw him in there. He at least deserves a little bit of discussion.
I would have to agree with you on that. However, he's only averaging 6 assists a game, but he is averaging 29 points. And with that said, when you compare him to the other point guards in the league, it's clear that Russ and James is head and shoulders above him. But he does deserve to be in the MVP talks.
Yeah,
I'd have to agree with that.
It's tough because you got so many good players right now, and you're balancing the team, how the team's doing, and then how the individual player's doing. Now it's MVP, right? Most valuable player.
Correct.
The team's going to be decided at the end of it all, right? So it's Russ. It's motherfucking Russ.
I agree with you. I have no doubt with you. If the voting had to take place today, I would be picking Russell Westbrook as the MVP of the NBA, hands down.
I think if Ballerz World Live is voting, I would lose 2-1, and Russell Westbrook would win MVP.
It was up to us
LeBron
all
James
day.
would lose,
If it
and
was up
Russell
to us, it's a
Westbrook would
wrap.
win.
Yes, all day.
It was up to us as a wrap.
All right, so moving along, what do we have next?
We have a special guest coming into the studio.
Special guest coming to the studio.
Ladies.
My boy, my homie, Don Benjamin. Mr. Don Benjamin himself, light-skinned Lord. He's coming up next.
Yes, so be ready. Before we go to break, anything else that we need to pop up and discuss? Any shout-outs?
Later on this show, we have a celebrity interview that we're doing. Don's going to help us out with.
Okay. Yes, we're going to be actually interviewing NBA great Jim Jackson, who actually hosted the NCAA tournament along with the Final Four. So we'll be having him on here shortly. So before then, we'll catch you guys on when we return back from break. So stay tuned. Welcome back to this edition of Ballerz World Live. We're here in our LA studio, and we have our special guest, Mr. Don Benjamin, in the building.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Good,
The
man. How you
light-skinned
doing?
Lord himself.
Hey, hallelujah, bro.
How you doing, man?
That's good, man.
Hey,
Man.
tell me about this new track.
On my
the
new record,
snooze
hit the
button,
snooze.
man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hot right there. That's
Man,
lit.
Appreciate that. Me and my man Eric Bellinger was in the studio, just messing around, talking about clubbing, going out with the girls and whatnot, and
That's definitely a club
just
joint.
just got to talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Talking about when you give it
Hit
to
the
your girl so
snooze.
good, she ain't going to work the next day.
Yeah.
You know, she hitting the snooze.
Snooze on that
Yeah.
We'd all been there.
You already know.
one. Yeah.
So-
go ahead,
Go ahead.
man. No, go ahead.
So, what's going on with you now, man? I mean, you're all over the place. You're seeing you modeling, acting, you're making music now.
Yeah,
How's
man.
life right now for you? You look like
Life
things
is
are
good,
going well,
man. The funny thing is I was doing music. I first moved to LA to do music and acting, and then got into the modeling thing. Went on A&TM. Now, dog, I just shot the campaign for Guess.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the first tattoo male models for Guess. So
bro. Big ups to you on
yo,
that. Congrats, bro.
appreciate that, man. That's a blessing.
It's a breakthrough.
So,
That's a breakthrough, man.
Yeah.
That's huge in the modeling
trying to
industry.
break ground, man.
Yeah,
so
that's what's up.
that's dope. Got an EP coming out end of the month called MPLS,
Yeah.
Money, Power, Love, Stress. But it also signifies my city where I'm from, Minneapolis. So I'm excited about that.
So how you feel being coming from that cold weather down here in LA, man?
Man.
Sunshine.
Ain't going back.
Yo, it's crazy, dog, because I've gotten so comfortable with it to when now, like, I'll go back home and I'm, like, dying.
Yeah.
Or even out here, like, if it gets, like, 60, I'm like, dog, it's freezing outside. And I forget I got to go home and remember, like, I'm from negative 10, negative 20, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Do they make comments to you all the time when you go back home about moving to California and the weather?
every time. All my family's talking about, I got to move out. I'm actually going to move my mother out here.
That's dope.
I
Congrats,
think the
man.
end of the summer. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Congrats,
appreciate
man. I
it.
just did that, man. It's a blessing. It's good to have family close, man.
Have to. I told them I can't deal with no more winners anyway.
Yeah, it's like cuts the visiting down. It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
Christmas, you down the street. You just, all right, what's up? Merry Christmas, present, bam.
So that's the move, man.
Well, you also you talked about your LP, your EP, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I try to keep a balance on it. You know what I'm saying? People are still getting familiar with me as an artist rather than model. So I try to give them a variety. I got, of course, a couple club records. Got some stories I got a couple records where I'm kind of telling my story. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm trying to not give them too much right away. Like when I was first rapping, it was like all like storytelling and stuff, like real more conscious.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to, people when they're looking at me, they're like a model trying to rap. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't get it. So I'm trying to ease their way in.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how is the industry? You know, when you talk about other artists, you know, how are they viewing you? How are they embracing you? You know, when you're rapping or you're entertaining with modeling. I mean, do they take you seriously? What's that experience been like?
The funny thing, dog, is when I tell them like a lot of people, they don't know it. So when I'm like, yeah, I rap, they're like, you rap, and they don't really know. But then like I'll get a text from them, they're like, dog, I just checked out your music. I didn't know you really rap. Like you really do your thing. Yeah. So it's cool because it like throws them off. You know what I'm saying? Like when they look at me, first off, they think I'm like a singer. They're like, you an R&B singer, you're a model, you probably sing.
Right. You like
nah, I rap.
You too pretty. They say you too pretty.
You got light eyes. You sing.
You sing. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's cool, man. It's dope because I like a challenge. You know what I'm saying? I like to have to be the underdog and come up. So in that aspect, it's like I got to prove myself and when it pays off, like people are starting to finally see the artistry, so it's dope.
So we can expect more hot stuff coming from you.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I got some records on my EP where I'm actually like spitting. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So hit the snooze. Where can everybody get it? Is it out right now?
Hit the snooze. Yes, it's on iTunes right now. It's on Spotify, Amazon, all that. So
y'all hit that. Y'all hear that?
Yeah,
go get it. Hit
that.
the snooze right now.
That.
Do you have a favorite track in your EP?
I do. I got a record. It's called Plain Jane, and it's kind of talking about like being with a girl, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, like your everyday girl, and she's coming up with you through the grind, and then once you get on and you're on the road and whatnot, you get in this different lifestyle. It kind of turns her out, and then so she kind of feels like she has backlash towards you, so she starts going out every night. And she ended up getting turned out by the club.
Sound like a true story.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're Plain Jane, so it's like a double entendre where it's like my Plain Jane, but like I'm always on a plane, you know what I'm saying? So
now I know the ladies would like to know, are you taking?
Yeah, man. I think by now, honestly, by now I think everybody knows my girl.
Yeah. I mean,
we put it out there, so I think everybody by now knows my girl.
They know.
So how is that? What's that like being in the industry here in LA? You know, obviously the expectations, you know, partying, clubs, the whole nine, and then, but you know, a guy of your caliber having a girlfriend.
I mean, I have my fun. You know what I'm saying? When I was single, I was out here in these streets, and now I found a girl that we connect. We're both on the same page. Like we do the same. We have the same interests and stuff. And people, I feel like right now are looking like toward like there's not a lot of hope right now. I feel like everybody's kind of like my side chick.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking crazy. So all these girls
y'all do a good
really,
job of like working together and like keeping it public and sticking together with the shit too. So it makes it real easy.
Shout out to your clingy couple videos. I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I love. They are so funny. Like check them out on his Instagram.
We're not really like that in real life, but like we be around people and they're like attached at the hip. So it's funny, man. It's cool to be able to create, you know what I'm saying, like fun stuff with my girl. So
and see this now, Don, I know you for a minute. I mean, I knew you before modeling, before acting, man, before the rapping, before when I just knew you as a hooper, when I just knew you as the lefty that had the Jimmy with the tats, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, fuck, light skin that keep hitting these threes, close out on them, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people think, I'm sure when you walk in the gym, like, oh man, can he really hoop? Like, he a model and he all these things, and you just,
oh man, I don't want a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, bet I'll put a check up right quick. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, man, this dude cannot ball, and I put that check up.
Don't you love when they underestimate you like that when you walk in the gym?
I love it. That's easy money.
Yeah.
That's easy money.
Yeah, man. This dude can hoop.
I can't wait to see you, bro. Getting in the gym and start getting some shots
we
up,
in the
man.
league.
We in the league
right now. We in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
come check us out.
And you know we're gonna be in Staples Center. You know we're going all the way to the chip. So
all right, let me ask you this: what about Drew League this summer?
Yo, I was trying to get in Drew League last year, man. I might have to try this year, but I kind of fell off. I ain't gonna
We
lie.
got a team. We got a team, man. We might have to
My-
bring you out
my
in a
endurance
game.
ain't- My endurance ain't quite there. You know?
Facts.
I'll be tired after like 2 runs.
Facts.
Hey, I feel you. I'm 40 now, bro.
The Drew
so-
League, like Harden, all them cats be in there. Like,
Man.
Oh, it's real ball there.
Yeah,
They don't
they
mess
go.
around.
They
They go
go.
hard.
right now, I'm not quite NBA material like I was a couple of years ago. I felt like I could have went to the league. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I was looking at a couple guys on the bench, and I was like, I could definitely beat
Oh, yeah,
them.
11th man.
You know what I'm saying?
I could be the
Nowadays-
11th man, for sure.
I could be the
Right.
11th man. Nowadays, I'm like, I'll give you like a couple 3-pointers. I'll give you a
Yeah.
few shots.
So now we're talking basketball. Like, who's your MVP pick, man? Harden,
Oh man, Westbrook is my
Westbrook.
guy.
Westbrook, okay.
Westbrook
I
is
keep losing on this show, man.
Yeah, it's 3-1 now.
Westbrook
You
is-
in trouble.
Westbrook is my guy, and I feel like ever since Durant left,
Yeah.
like Westbrook has always, even when Durant was there, like he's so explosive for one. But now that Durant there, and he's like Durant left, and he's stepping up to the plate and like carrying that team,
Yeah.
is like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like Harden is killing. Don't get me wrong, but he has a little bit more help. I feel like
Yeah.
than Westbrook.
I agree. You know, that's one of the things I argue is like, look at who Russ is playing
Yeah.
with, and he's carrying this team. Like,
Yeah.
literally, put the backpack on. I'm taking y'all. You
Right.
know, and
Let's get it.
that's like Michael Jordan type moments.
Yo.
You know, to see a guy dropping that
For
many
real.
points, assists, rebounds,
Yo,
and you don't find that often.
we haven't. When's the last time we really seen that? Anyways, like
With 1960, 61.
61.
Yeah. I mean, but, you know,
Crazy.
when LeBron came on the scene, obviously he was Mr. Triple Double, right?
Right,
He was
right.
that closest thing to Big O,
Right.
And you typically wouldn't see your point guard average 31 points.
right.
But now the flip side of that, let me ask you this. Now, do you think this is an evolution of where we're seeing a watered down league and these players are able to actually get these type of numbers? These are like video game
Right.
stats. Are the players really that much
Back
better?
in Big O's day, I mean, there were a lot of things that didn't count for an assist, and rebounds were kind of not really counted, and he got a triple-double off of that, like,
Right.
in a tough time.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, I feel like right now, for one, I feel like they have made the rules a little more like where players like can't be as physical. But I feel like dudes are bigger nowadays. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like small
True.
forwards are 7 foot shooting threes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the size, I feel like people are getting bigger nowadays. So in that aspect, like it's low key hard. It should be harder for Russ to get to the bucket, but
Correct.
he's getting to the bucket with ease.
Well, I mean, you also see the absence of the actual shot blockers. You know,
Yeah.
we were growing up, we watched Patrick Ewing,
True.
Alonzo
Yeah.
Mourning, David Robinson,
Yeah.
Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, we can go on. There was never a shortage of big men trying to
Right.
block shots.
Right.
And now it's like guys come down the lane,
They
they
wanna
just
be a
part the way
guard.
like
Yeah, because
like
they don't
the
want to
Red
get
Sea. They don't
shit
wanna
on
get
them on the
run
cover
on.
of one of these magazines. That's what it is. Yeah, look.
For
Hey,
real.
I'm not jumping.
And into what you're saying, James, I
For
mean, the
real.
physicality of the game is out now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, the players are making more money. You want to protect your assets.
And the
I get
flop,
that.
Yeah, you got
all
flop of the
all
week.
this
You got
flopping.
flop of the week
Yeah,
instead of
it's-
block.
Yeah,
of the week.
man.
It's crazy right now. Well, let me ask you.
Real quick.
Wait. We got
Alexis
game.
got a little
We gotta play
situation.
the
She got a
game.
little.
Okay.
We gotta
Here
play
we
the
go.
honest
All
room.
right.
All right, we talking honest room right now.
Okay.
You gotta be completely honest.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a truth or dare.
Okay.
So either you gotta name your starting five, or our DJ Mr. E is gonna lay a track, and you have to rap for 30 seconds.
Now you're starting five. You're starting
You
five.
know what starting five we're
You're
talking
start-
about.
Now we're not talking about your all-time best players either.
We're not
You know
talking
what I'm
about
saying?
Jordan and Westbrook. We're talking about something else.
We're talking
Okay.
about
Y'all
Yeah.
talking about the
Your,
girl
Insta-
guys,
your
the
young
Instagram,
lady
your,
squad.
your Instagram hot is
Yeah,
starting
Instagram
five.
/
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love to rap, I could name my top five. That's funny.
Top five.
I mean, I guess I have to put my girl.
You know you
You know what
better.
I'm saying?
You better.
You
You
can't
better.
go
I was
home.
waiting.
if
I
my
was
girl-
waiting. I was waiting.
My girl killing them.
Yeah, I
all
was
anyway,
waiting. I was about to be like, he
my
ain't gonna be at the game
My girl
tomorrow, I'll tell you what.
Leanne V. My girl is Leanne V. For y'all out there. Leanne V. Gotta be PG. Rihanna. Gotta be
Riri.
Rihanna.
Solid
Gotta be shooting guard.
Solid shooting guard.
Beyonce. Gotta be on the other wing.
The GOAT. Usually got Michael Jordan at the 3, huh? Okay.
J-Lo is still up in there.
And then Wilt.
You understand? She's a strong small
Hey,
forward.
For 50, she holding it down.
Yeah.
And then, man, who's my fifth? You know who I'm really liking lately? Is old girl, what's her name? Margot Robbie, the white girl that's
Oh,
been
yeah,
on
Margot
Will Smith.
Robbie,
She
Margot
been on
Robbie.
Will Smith films.
Yeah, she's
strong.
killing it. Margot
Yeah.
Robbie's killing it.
That's my five right there.
That's a solid starting five.
That's like a all-star starting
that's
five.
Oh yeah, no, that's like
Co-MVPs
that's
all across the board.
that's the dream team, brother.
That's a dream team five right there.
The Fab Five is there.
Yeah.
I see you. I see what you're
I'm
doing
trying to
with
win
that.
multiple championships.
I feel you on that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. You getting a ring off of that one for sure. So, real quick before we go, we're gonna when we come back from the break, we're gonna have Jim Jackson on the phone.
Yeah.
He's gonna be our interview. Gonna help us interview him
Okay.
and whatnot. But before we do that, man, we're gonna be talking about the NCAA and let's get your opinion real quick before we get him on the phone. How'd you like the game? What were you thinking about North Carolina and how they did?
I mean, honestly, I didn't catch too much of the final game. I watched the Oregon
the tournament.
UNC
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That was a good game. I
Yeah.
mean, I honestly for a second thought Oregon was gonna pull it off.
Man.
Dorsey, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's nice. I mean, and he's light skinned. You know,
Yeah,
that's my
like, you
guy.
gotta be
you know what I'm
like-
saying? You gotta hold it. You gotta. I was like,
Gang,
come
gang.
on, bro.
Can I,
Like,
can
come
I
on.
second his statement?
Come on, bro.
I'm gonna agree on
You gotta
that.
hold it down for the
statement.
light skins, bro.
Right.
But nah, man. But I like UNC, man. I've been a UNC fan since I was a kid. Of course, Jordan
Got
and
to.
stuff. But they locked the big man up on Gonzaga. What's homeboy's name? The big white boy.
I can't remember his name, but they
cat
definitely
from Poland.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Poland.
Yeah,
Coach Cat.
they
Yeah,
kind of
they
locked
shut him
him.
Well, it's hard. I mean, one, he has the size, but I thought the athleticism and the length for
Right.
Carolina made it really, really hard,
Right.
and that was really the difference as you watch down the stretch, whether it was offensive rebounds or the finishes at the bucket.
Right.
I think they just got tired. I
Mhm.
really do. I
Definitely
think he was
rebounds.
gassed. Yeah, he was gassed.
Yeah, there wasn't enough help.
Well, and you have to foul trouble too.
Right.
Those guys are in foul trouble, and as you know, when you get in foul trouble, you're going to play a little bit more passive, both ends of the floor, because that next foul in a big game like that, it's it. So
Right.
I definitely think, and we'll talk with Jimmy about that. I definitely think the fouls, the level was 44 fouls called
44
in that
fouls.
game. I definitely think it nonetheless it didn't have an impact on the wins or loss side, but it definitely had an impact on how the players were playing
Right.
as the game went on.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
thought. Gonzaga was a little bit more passive down the stretch
Yeah.
than they typically were because of the foul trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we got to go to break. Mr. E is going to take us out. Shout out to him, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to this edition of Ballerz World Live. I'm your host, Rod Watson, and we have our special guest caller, Jim Jackson, NBA great on the line and Fox Sports analyst. Jim, you there?
I'm here, my man. Congrats
All
on this new
right.
show.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on. All love here. We got our co-host, Alexis Williams, James Ship, and we also have...
How's it going, sir?
Hello.
Yep, and we have...
What's happening? No, sir, please. I'm old, but not that old. Yeah.
What's up, my man? And we also have a celebrity guest host with us, Don Benjamin, in the studio with us.
Yes.
What's good,
What's
boss?
up, my man?
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Well, Jimmy, tell us, you had a chance to cover the NCAA tournament and obviously watch the championship game in Arizona. What were your thoughts on the game? Do you feel that the officiating had an impact on the win for North Carolina? It was 44 fouls called in that game.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, the fouls, yes, kind of broke up the pace of play, but, there's a lot of missed shots, a lot of missed free throws on the parts of both teams.
Facts.
And you can blame the officials all you want, but at the end of the day, and I said this coming in right at the beginning of the second half, that as a player, and I would always say this, that you have to adjust to what the refs and how the refs are officiating the game. So that means that you can't take chances. If they're calling it close, you can't take chances by reaching in, trying to gamble on steals and things like that. See, that comes down to the player on that perspective. So the officials had some part in that, but at the same time, the players have to take a little bit of that blame in regards to not making an adjustment to how it was being officiated.
Well, what do you think as far as the coaching goes down the stretch? How do you feel as far as Roy Williams and, Mark Few did as far as making those adjustments in that last 8 minutes of the game? Because I thought that was the critical point.
Well, I mean, you got two great coaches. I mean, Mark Few had a chance to cover them in the San Jose region. Mm-hmm. I've been knowing Roy for years. So at the end of the day, the coach can only do so much. The players have to execute offensively and defensively, whatever the coach puts in. And it comes down to that because the coach can't go out on the court and play defense. He can't shoot the basketball. He can't run the plays. So he had his team. Both coaches had their team prepared. If you saw the first half, it was a better flow. So you can't really put that onus on the coaches because they put in game plans that they thought, would be effective. Again, it goes back to players. I truly believe that have to finish finish out the game plan.
Let me ask you this: who do you think who impressed you in the tournament this year?
That's a good question.
I mean, Justin Jackson did.
Justin Jackson.
Because and the reason why is because he came in with a lot of hype, a lot of expectations. His first year probably wasn't as successful as he have wanted it, probably. But some guys, take a little bit longer to mature.
Yeah.
Averaging about 20 points in the tournament. The last game he didn't shoot the ball as well. But one thing he did do, and the people I don't think really paid too much attention to it, was his defense, especially on Nigel Williams, Goss, and some other guards. He really made.
They were shutting him down. He
really made their job hard. So you got to give him credit for not hanging his head because he wasn't making shots, which a lot of guys that do. He made his impact felt on the defensive end of the court. And to be honest, too, that big 3-point play that he had near the end of the game and knocking down the free throw was huge.
It was a real big time play.
Now, I have a quick question for you, and this is kind of a bigger question than just about that final game, but.
Yeah,
it was reported that Roy got $925,000 bonus, right? And the players, they got some hats, they got some shirts, they got.
They're gonna tie the piece of the basketball hoop around the hat. Don't forget that.
They got a piece of the net,
and they got some stories to tell, and that's about it. So, what do you think about that? How do you weigh on the whole players being paid in the NCAA controversy?
And Jimmy, before you answer that question, the reason why that's arised by James is that who was it? J.J. Redick made the comment that he felt the players, every player on that court should be played. And, coming from your era where, obviously the game has changed and a lot of hard work is put in, do you believe that the players should be paid now?
Well, the players are paid. Let's not get it twisted. Now, you got your scholarship money.
Correct.
It's just a matter of, can that be with the amount of TV money, is it conducive in regards to the pay to what's being made revenue-wise from the university? So you got to think, if you go back in the day before TV was involved, a scholarship for play, it evened itself out because you had the education.
Correct.
So it was an even balance. But once TV got involved and the money got involved, now it threw everything off balance. But also keep in mind, we're talking about two sports really that make the money in college sports. It's basketball and football. They pay for everything else athletically that goes on at these universities.
Correct.
And it's not as simple as saying at a high Division I team school like a Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, they can pay certain amount of money, where a lower Division I school that doesn't generate that same kind of income, they can't pay the same amount. Also, you got Title IX issues in regards to paying female athletes, and you got issues in regards to how do you pay scholarship players that may be like baseball, that the scholarship itself maybe is half a scholarship. So it's a little bit more complicated. I think the NCAA can do it with their participation in regards to revenues in order to beef up, I'm going to say, the amount that a student athlete gets. Now, how that's regulated, how that's divided among each school, each conference is going to be, that's the challenge. But yes, the money has to be, I think, more evenly distributed for these players.
I agree with you absolutely, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because it was something like $1 billion that they were slated to make this year, the NCAA. Not to mention the TV contracts. I think they totaled somewhere close to $20 billion over the next 20 years. Wow. Yeah. So it's like $1 billion a year just from TV.
Well, last year the NCAA cleared $1 billion, and 90% of the NCAA's income came from the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, so that's where they're getting paid. That's the bread and butter for them is
the national college football. You know what I mean? So it's something that has to be addressed. Now, when I was in school, I worked in the summer. I didn't worry about meals or stuff like that because I didn't need a lot when I was in college.
Yeah, so same here. Same here. We didn't need big whips. We didn't need Rams. We didn't need Jordans and all that.
Well, no, but I'm saying though, it's all contingent now to your lifestyle. Now, I'm not gonna say I wasn't around anybody that went hungry.
Yes.
I don't care what circumstance they came from. When you're on campus, bro, you go eat.
Yes.
Now, it's a matter if you feel like eating that food that they provide, okay?
That's right.
But I do believe that, again, with the revenues that's being generated in today's world with TV money and everything else, that that increase in their scholarship allotment should be more.
Correct. Well, thank you for sharing that. And as we move along, let me ask you this: as far as coaches, do you believe Roy Williams is the all-time, coach, or would you say Coach K? Where would you rate Roy?
No, come on, Coach K. I mean, don't forget about John Wood. Now, John Wood did it in a different era. He did it in a different era, but you can't knock the hustle or the success in which Roy Williams had. Now, keep in mind, just like Dean Smith, a lot of pressure was put on Roy Williams because he's always had talent, but the championships don't reflect that. But I think that just goes back to show you how difficult it is, even with John Calipari, that no matter how much talent you got in a one-game scenario, that you can be beat. So it's not as easy as just putting the best players on the court.
You're right.
Then all of a sudden you go win multiple championships. It just, in a perfect world, it'll work like that. But that's the difference between if you play professional sports like hockey, baseball, professional basketball. You have a 7-game series, and generally the best team is going to win in those 7 games. Okay, in college, with a one-game scenario, bro, you may have a stretch in there where you're, like, I'd say for my instance, we were number 1 seed in 92.
I remember that day.
Playing against Michigan in the Elite 8.
Yep.
We beat them twice that year. But in that game, on that day, it went into overtime, and they were the better team.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not always the best talent. It's sometimes circumstances within the game, a 3 or 4 minute stretch where you're not playing well.
You're just not playing
that
well.
Underdog team, just creeps up on you and gains the momentum.
But that's what makes basketball so great, right? The fact that a Cinderella team, an underdog, somebody can come up and just out hustle you, outwork you. It doesn't matter how great you are. You got to lace up your shoes the same way, and you got to come to play.
That's right.
But let me ask you this question.
It is.
Let me ask you this question. So, we're talking about the tournament and everything. Was there a difference, and did it affect playing in a football arena from a basketball arena? Do you think that had any kind of effect on the tournament?
The shooting? No, I mean, a lot of people want to make that up, but they did the statistics, and they looked at the shooting percentages, which were pretty much even compared to playing in a natural arena. Now, it takes a little adjustment once you get there because the depth perception behind the rim is a little different. But that didn't affect what happened last year with North Carolina and UConn. Now you go back to 2011, it was an ugly game. UConn played Butler.
Right.
That game shooting was even worse. So it just depends on the situation. But the statistics say, from a shooting perspective, that it's not much of a difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, Jimmy, thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Our time is unfortunately run out, and we appreciate you taking your time out of your day to share your knowledge around the tournament and the game. And of course, we'll be hopefully having a chance to have you in the studio sometime in the near future, man.
Definitely, man. Pull up.
Yeah, thank you.
No, we'll kick it and talk some pro stuff, some NBA.
Yeah, we'll talk about you, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk about you.
We got to talk about you.
We got some stuff. The Cavs put it on the Celtics, so I guess
Man.
all that talk about LeBron not really caring about the regular season just went out the door.
Yeah, it's gone.
Just happened.
Well, listen, my brother, thank you, and we will be in touch, and have a great evening.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, listen, we want to thank all of our listeners, all of our viewers for tuning in for this first episode of Ballerz World Live. We want to thank our special guest, Don Benjamin.
My brother, Don Benjamin.
Man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
for having
First
me.
episode, man.
Hey,
And
time I'm here.
And go cop that snooze. Be sure to download it. We want to thank
Hit
our
snooze.
resident DJ, Mr.
Hit
DJ,
snooze.
Mr. E. Thank you for being in the house on the ones and twos. And we want to thank
Mr.
our
Reed, thank
sponsors, Slam and Anta, for making this all possible. And, of course, Ballerz World Live. Thank you, guys, and we look forward to seeing you next week.